We're here with the founder of the Cyber Athlete Professional League. Angel, glad to have you.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate that.
The CPL has been on almost every major American channel and station, G4, Tech TV. Have you been surprised at the amount of coverage the Main Street coverage has done for you?
Well, the kind of coverage that we're getting is not exactly what I want for the sport, but it is certainly a solid first step. The reason that I anticipated and was not surprised by the coverage is because of the newness of the concept. That carries a lot of weight, especially here in the U.S. with the media. As they see it and they think about geeks with computers competing and all that, that just obviously has an attraction with the media. The kind of coverage that I really want, we're just starting to see. I think that the first real big step for proper coverage was the ABC piece that we did with Peter Jennings, where it was more, still had that wowness type of feeling to it, but it was a lot more of an explanation of the sport. And that's going to be just sort of the next step, what I envision. But the ultimate step is to have when you're watching the news at night and you're watching your regular evening news, that at the end of as part of the sports broadcast, that they mention a CPL event and that they say, at the CPL event and so such team from such place in the world won, and they won, $30,000, and the action was great, and we get a little bit of commentary. I realize that road is long and that it's not something that's going to happen overnight, so I am excited about what we're getting, but we're trying to emphasize in our coverage, specifically for the upcoming summer event in 2004, more of an in-depth coverage of the players, of the gamers, of the statistics that go into the sport, of the tactics that are used, and a lot more encompassing type of review and type of coverage. So I can't really say that I'm surprised. I'm pleased, but I'm not quite surprised, because I realized that once the American public would realize that this was happening, although they were not really aware of it, that there was going to be a lot of reports. We get about 6 to 8 requests for interviews a week, and we have been not doing them as much because we now are asking for the questions in advance, and if we feel that there's going to be just a repetition of what's already been said, that it's not moving us forward. So we'll allow other people to do those interviews. We pass them on, and we just want to focus on the things that we think are going to solidify the sport.
Now let me ask you, what is your relationship like with CPL Europe?
CPL Europe and us have sort of a love-hate relationship. The love is that these people are real hard-working, and that they have an incredible ability to just work under any kind of circumstances. The hate, which is kind of a strong word, it's really not hate, is the fact that they feel that there's time for them to do the things the way they want to do them. So soon we're announcing, and obviously we're going to be announcing it now with this video, but we're announcing that we are redoing and rethinking the way that we are going to do our CPL Europe events. And the way that we're going to be doing it is we're going to focus more on country events, and then we're going to do the same concept, translate the same concept that we have here in the U.S., which you'll see, which it's going to get us into another area, which is that we're also redoing the way that we're doing events here in 2004. But to continue on your question, the way that we're going to approach it is we'll have, for example, CPL Denmark and CPL Sweden and CPL Spain and CPL France, and then at the end in summer or right after our summer event here, we're going to have sort of like the Super Bowl in Europe also. So culminating in a very large event. That really is the program. The organizers of CPL Europe may or may not be interested in this new concept. So if they're not interested, we're going to do it otherwise. Their contract with us expires on December 31st, and they have asked not to renew the contract because they want to emphasize their own online league that they're doing, and they want to concentrate on their own projects, and that's perfectly fine. There's really no hate in that sense. It's just that with them, we are going to be driving with our new partners into this new concept of getting more exposure and higher cash prices in Europe for 2004.
You've been here at the Hyatt. The CPL's been here for some time. How excited are you to be moving to this new venue, to have a new floor plan?
That's a very exciting thing for me because a lot of people know, especially people that have been watching the sport for a while, that my ultimate goal is to build a structure from the ground up for our sport. And hopefully for it to be here in Dallas, but it could be basically anywhere else in the United States. Obviously, we would like to do that here first in the U.S. And I was doing an interview today with Gamer TV, and they asked me the same question, and then they sort of answered the question by saying, they looked around and you said, this is a small event, but you outgrew this space 2 years ago. And really, that is true. And we've been struggling for 2 years. I mean, the Hyatt has been fantastic to us, so I have no complaints about the way that they've dealt with us over the years. It's been 5 years now since we've been holding events here, but the Gaylord Texan Resort is everything I've ever envisioned and more. And the reason there's two critical reasons for that. One is absolute size and capability of handling our event, and the fact that I was touring it just a few weeks ago, and I realized that we had miscalculated. We thought that we could accommodate between 4,000 and 5,000 people in the BYOC, when in fact we could accommodate over 6,000 people in our BYOC, making it one of the largest BYOCs ever in the world. So we've been sort of, we're so impacted by this property and the space capabilities that we were insecure to assert the full capabilities of what's possible. And beyond that, the other aspect that is important to me personally is to start involving parents in the process of the sport. There's two reasons why. One is because I, as a parent myself, it allows me to interact with the people that are concerned about what their children are doing and maybe have some apprehensions about it. But also, all sports are driven by parents. That is a necessary component for the successful sport. So any organization that is just going to focus just on the competitors is going to have mild success. The big success is when parents are there cheering for their kids and coming out and just driving them and being involved in their practice and all that. And I think that a new venue like this one is great. As a matter of fact, I will say something that we have not announced yet, but we're only going to do our summer events at the Gaylord property. The winter events are going to be something that I also wanted to do and failed to do it on many times, is going to be moved around the country. So our target is, and if our discussions go as planned, our target is to move our winter event for 2004 outside of Dallas and probably in California, so the LA area. So it makes it for a little more difficult travel for some people, but we have such a great percentage of Californians that support the CPL that it only makes sense for us to expand it in that direction. So to summarize my answer about your question, and I'm very, very excited about the new property. We have a long-term contract for all our summer events there, and it's everything we ever wanted. I mean, it's a resort. People can water ski, or they can do all kinds of diverse things besides just gaming. So it's just wonderful. It's a great thing, and hopefully it'll bring parents to plan their vacations around a CPL event.
There's been a lot of talk about what other games the CPL might embrace. Personally, what are you hopeful for? What would you like to see here at the CPL?
Well, when you've been doing this for 6.5 years, you start realizing reluctantly that your opinion should be subjugated to the opinion of the gamers. And we've managed the CPL very tightly for 6.5 years. And, some decisions have been better than others, and we've gotten a lot of criticism every time we turn and we make a left instead of a right. So our backseat drivers are very vocal. And it's time to allow the community to participate in the process of picking the game. So right now we're running, we have picked several games that we think offer some amount of value to the sport. And one of them is Halo. And if Halo does not perform to our capabilities, then we're not going to, continue with it. We're not going to insist that the community plays a game if they don't want to play it. Another game is, UT 2004, and there's another game that has a lot of possibilities, and the way they're building it, and seems interesting. But the online gamers are telling us that Battlefield and StarCraft are games that they like to see the CPL feature. So you know what? At one point, we just need to listen and to say, if there's a community that's voted already, close to 2,000 people have voted for each of those games, to insist on going left when so many people are telling you the right way is right, it's not really the proper path for the CPL. So while we will continue choosing games that we think offer value, we're also now going to open the league to have more input from the gaming community on that. And personally, I like Halo, but if it doesn't work as a competitive game, I'm not going to, I'm not going to bet the CPL on one game. It's not worth it to us. So Counter-Strike was a gamble that we took at a time when people told us it was wrong. And, the whole community, the whole competitive community was focused on Quake. And it proved to be one of the best decisions we made. But I have to tell you honestly that I did not want to let go of Quake because I was a Quake player myself, and I thought that it brought a lot of value from a spectator point of view. But it worked out to be a wise decision at the end. So Mike, which was our commissioner at the time, Wardwell, and Frank Nuccio, and a lot of people that really pushed to have that game featured at the CPL, the credit really goes to them because I was not, my vote was against it. And so I still have never played Counter-Strike once. So, and I don't watch, I watch the games here, but I'm not a fan of the game, and still it has fans all over the world. As a matter of fact, an interesting tidbit, SK, I don't want to run all your tape, but SK just got back from China, and they say there's over 30 million people playing Counter-Strike in China right now. So how can you ignore a game of that potential?